When I saw this on Twitter earlier tonight, when my brother Ticker was cooking him through the hard way, it really, really got under my skin. So the uninformed shot down the unintelligent, or the uninformed shot down the intelligent. So let me understand something. We YouTubers that sees the stuff that you're saying, and we're coming on live on our respective channels, and we're calling you out for the buffoonery that you're putting out. Now, you've been on Deion Sanders' helmet ever since he took that job in Colorado, and your lies and your propaganda has evolved with time, saying that the man wouldn't go be a good coach, till he was going to ultimately fail. You talk about the man's character, you talk about the man's wardrobe, you talked about the man's maturity, you talked about the man's faith. You said all of this stuff. And now we're getting at you for the stuff you're saying. All of a sudden now we're the ones being sensitive, and we're the ones out here whining, bitching, and moaning and complaining. No, you're the one that's out here doing it. We're just calling you out because we have a duty to our subscribers, the people who follow us, the people who lend us their ears, to tell them the truth. And the truth of the matter is, you're nothing more than a fucking hater. You talk about, oh, well, I want to see him succeed, and I'm the only one that's gonna put pressure on him. Yet you can't even put pressure on yourself to take your fat ass to Planet Fitness, and you sitting up here talking about, I'm gonna put pressure on because I want to see a diamond. I know what it takes to make a diamond, but you're not even a diamond in your own realm. You're not even a diamond in the journalistic realm. Now, early tonight, this man came up with another round of vagina monologues, and for your listening pleasure, I'm going to play the clip, and I'm going to stop at various points to counteract the counterfeit narratives that he's trying to spew out. You even went so low to even attack this man's children, man. I mean, how low do you have to be as an individual to sit up here and attack this man's children? Let's go. Fair use, fat boy. Fair use.
I don't know if anything could be more crystal clear. This hypocrisy and idolatry and worship of Dion. And
Okay, first things first. No one's idealizing Deion Sanders. You're confusing idolatry with support. No one's sitting up here having Deion Sanders fat heads on their wall, and nobody's sitting up here glorifying Deion Sanders and all that. We're just supporting the man. Something you're supposed to be doing. You sitting up here with this toilet, this right-wing nut toilet owned by Glenn Beck, putting out your rhetoric, putting out your hateful, disingenuous rhetoric. If anybody is out here being the hypocrite, it's you. You're the ones being the damn hypocrite. You sitting up here throwing stones, and you live in a glass house. And you sitting up here talking about, oh, well, all these people being out here idealizing Deion Sanders. And you sitting up here comparing Deion Sanders to Barack Obama, talking about, oh, well, Deion Sanders has replaced Barack Obama as the American Idol. All this goofy ass, stupid ass, lying ass bullshit you out here spewing out. Because unlike Deion Sanders, your lies are like Play-Doh. They're constantly evolving, constantly being shaped to fit whatever you want to fit. And Deion Sanders is like the Rock, not like Dwayne Johnson, the Rock, but he's a rock. He's the truth. He's the light. He is a person who is 10 toes down, and he's never wavered. He's always been this way. So why all of the fake outrage all of a sudden, Whitlock? What's your end game? You sitting up here talking about idolatry and the hypocrisy and all that. And you're sitting up here being the hypocrite. You're sitting up here always projecting.
How he can take a dump on an 18-year-old kid. No one say a word.
Okay, so where was you at all these years when Bobby Knight was out here cursing at players, spitting at players, throwing things at players, and you were worshiping him? I know why that is, because you're from Indiana. All you buck dancers, sellouts out there from Indiana, you, Sage Steele, Charlie Arnault, etc. Yeah, y'all sitting up here all day and all night protecting Bobby Knight, and yet Coach Prime doing what any other coach would have done if a player shows up late or a player doesn't perform up to expectations and all that. He's doing nothing that any other coach wouldn't have done. But you're always put the microscope on him. And every little thing he says and every little thing he does gets scrutinized by you.
Not a word. Oh, that was great. Yeah, Deion, he's old school. But Deion get criticized, and half of the internet melts. I don't know how many different YouTube channels I've gone to that are all just go, oh my God, Whitlock has criticized Deion Sanders. What's the matter with him? He hates himself. He hates black people. It's personal. And yeah, this is what happens when everybody gets a podcast, everybody gets a platform. The uninformed shout down the intelligent.
Okay, I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that. Because it's not like this is the 1990s or even the early 2000s where you could come on a platform just because you have so-called credentials and all that, right? And we're supposed to legitimize you because some network gave you a platform to spot out your little diarrhea of the mouth. So we're supposed to just give you all the credibility in the world, and we're not supposed to counteract what you're saying. That's why everybody got a YouTube channel and everybody got a podcast and everybody got a platform, because we don't got to listen to that. We don't have to accept that. We can take what you say and use it against you in the court of law, or in this case, the court of public opinion. We can do that because we don't have to accept that, because that's part of the reason my YouTube channel exists. My YouTube channel exists because of people like you that will sit up here and frame false narratives and cook up these lies and all that to try to demonize a brother. Now, I noticed that you've had Brett Favre on a multitude of shows on your platform, and yet you still won't ask him about that fraud allegation that took place in the great old state of Mississippi. When all these people around Brett Favre would have been Jake Van Landingham, would have been Nancy New, would have been John Davis, would have been Ted DiBiase Jr. All these people around Brett Favre are getting in trouble, pleading guilty, going to prison. And yet he still gets to parade around like he did nothing wrong. But you got all this smoke for Deion Sanders, the head coach for the Colorado Buffaloes. Brett Favre out here was sending dick pics to people. You ain't got no smoke for that. Ben Roethlisberger being a freaking rapist. You had no smoke for that. But every little thing head coach Deion Sanders does, you got a problem with it. And you're supposed to be this devout Christian. You're supposed to be this devout Christian, and yet every time head coach Deion Sanders does something, or says something you got a problem with, you hop in the, you've been on this all-out assault for the last 9 fucking months. And yet when we getting at you for getting at him, then all of a sudden now you want to come on your little platform with that red dildo and whine, bitch, and moan and complaining, but just everybody's out to get me and people out here. Shut your ass up, fat boy.
The uninformed shout down the actual informed people. The uninformed shout down people that actually have a standard and a set of values and a set of beliefs that they adhere to.
So, Whitlock, what are these standards you're referring to? What are these standards? I just want to know, what are these standards you so-called referring to? Because if you're all about standards and you're all about being objective, then I understand if you want to criticize him as a coach. If you want to talk about, oh, he should have did this play, did that play, that's one thing. But you're up here attacking this man's character. You're up here attacking this man's children. You're sitting up here attacking this man's faith as a Christian. Where's the standard in that? There's no journalistic standards in that. Where's the integrity in that? Where's the objectivity in that? This is the problem we have with you.
To all advance their racial idolatry agenda. Cut it out. I'm just doing my job.
And we're doing our job too. We're doing our job too. We're holding people like you accountable when you're sitting up here doing what you're doing. It's our job to inform the people that lend us their ears to tell them what the actual truth is, to see through the scams, to see through the lies, to comb through all the disinformation. That's our job. So I'm not apologizing, Whitlock, for me doing mine because you failed to do yours. You say you want to be objective. There's nothing objective but you demonizing a man and questioning his Christianity and questioning his faith and questioning what he's doing with his kids and questioning what he's doing in his off time and questioning what clothes he's wearing. There's nothing objective about that. You fat gelatinous ass white.
The same job I've been doing for 30 years. I get that you have a podcast or you have a blog or you have or you're just out clout chasing and groupie chasing like everybody else. And I'm not that's not specifically directed at Kwame Brown. I done told y'all I like Kwame. He can say whatever he wants. I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about Ryan Clark. I'm talking about Keyshawn Johnson, Skip Bayless, the whole cabal of Deion worshipers and idolaters. I've never.
So let me get this straight. You being contrarian for the sake of being contrarian is you sitting up on your platform calling everybody else this cabal of idolaters. You cut it out. Because every time we turn our head, your ass, your big titty, 3 chin having ass, is sitting on your platform talking about how you about to expose this person and how you supposed to expose, how you going to expose that person. And if you really go down the line of all these people that you trying to quote unquote expose, they're all black. They're all black folks you out here calling yourself trying to expose. But you're not exposing Brett Favre for all that shit he did down in Mississippi. You're not exposing that. You're not exposing Donald Trump when you was sitting up there, when you was part of Outkick, right before they kicked you out of Outkick. You sat down there with that chia pet on top of your head, with that black suit, look like you just came from a goddamn funeral. And you sit up there and you ask Trump all those goddamn softball questions and all that. You call yourself an independent, and yet you're occupying right-wing nut circles. And you want to call yourself name-dropping Greg Popovich and name-dropping Steve Kerr and name-dropping, these white folks that you don't agree with. Then all of a sudden now you got smoke for them, and all of a sudden now you want to put on your objective hat. But no other time, no other scenario we can point to that you call yourself being fair and balanced and objective and calling people out for their bullshit. You don't do that. You don't do that. So you can stop where you at right now. You can stop your whining, bitching, and moaning and kicking your little vagina monologues right now. You won't answer none of my questions. I've called you out on Twitter on numerous occasions. Why won't you answer my question? Since I'm so uninformed, since you're so intelligent, why would you answer any of my questions? Or you look at my sub count and you think I'm beneath you? I don't have the sub count you have, so that makes me beneath you. I'll be damned if I'm ever beneath your fat ass. Because you couldn't do what I did. You sitting here running your mouth about the military. When have you done a day in the military with your fat mouth? When have you done a day in the military, fat fuck? You don't know a goddamn thing was like to being in the military. I don't hear you calling out Tommy Tuberville for all that bullshit Tommy Tuberville's doing right now, or because, it's this woke agenda. And he's holding up all kinds of military promotions because of this so-called woke agenda. I don't hear you calling out Tommy Tuberville, the senator from Alabama. So yeah, you cut it out. You sitting up here talking about, people need to change their habits. How about you first start changing your eating habits? How about that? Let's try that first. When you change your eating habits and maybe, just maybe, you go from a double D to like an actual male chest, then we can talk.
I've never seen anything like the I'll and Royce certainly doesn't fit this category. But again, when I got Royce doing videos saying, "Hey, Jason should quit talking about Deion Sanders," I'm just like, "Hey, I get Deion's good looking, got a nice smile, and everybody loved watching him play, but he's just a man."
See, there you go in line right there again, because Deion Sanders ain't playing no more. He is a coach. He's not playing anymore. The man got 8 fucking toes. He's not playing any more football. So there you go again, lying to people.
And I've been talking about other men like this for 30 years. I got receipts everywhere. You can ignore them and say, "Oh, he only criticizes black people." Any tiny bit of research blows that up instantly. The only people who get triggered and whine like little babies is us.
No, you're the one out here whining, bitching, and moaning right now. Let's just keep this 100. You're the one out here whining, bitching, and moaning because you got quite a few people like me on your neck. And we're going to keep our foot in your neck until you stop this stupid ass bullshit you on. Matter of fact, you was the main one out here running your mouth about Serena Williams being fat. Now, this woman has won all kinds of tennis events, one of the greatest tennis players ever. And you call her fat? Now, mind you, she just had a kid when you went on that vagina monologue. But you call her fat. You calling somebody fat is like the pot calling the kettle black. You have no room to call anybody fat, Jason Whitlock. Absolutely no room. And just because you're this guy that's a critic and you've been doing this for 3 decades, but guess what? We don't have to accept that. We don't have to accept that. All that buffoonery that you running your mouth about, we don't have to accept that. That's why we have platforms. That's why we get the subscribers or the followers or the fellow brothers and sisters that's willing to ride with us to counteract these counterfeit narratives that you be spouting out on a daily basis on your platform. I noticed head coach Deion Sanders blocked your ass on Twitter. You triggered about that. That's what this really all about. You're mad at the fact that head coach Deion Sanders blocked your ass on Twitter. You're mad because this man is not giving you the attention that you're looking for. And you're sitting up here talking about him bringing entertainers and other athletes and other prominent people to Boulder, Colorado. Do you realize that Nick Saban has brought politicians and other prominent people to Alabama? What's up, Tyler Brown? Gideon, I see y'all up in here. So you had no problem with Donald Trump went to the national championship game between Clemson and LSU 4 years ago. You had no problem with that. You had no problem with Dabo Swinney bringing prominent people to Clemson, including that trainer who just happened to be a racist. Dan Mullen's done it. Mike Krzyzewski has done it. All the coaches have done it at one point or another, where they brought in prominent people to be motivational speakers or whatever. Hell, Jim Harbaugh brought Tom Brady to Michigan. And Tom Brady played college ball at Michigan. But Jim Harbaugh has brought Tom Brady in to give motivational speeches and all that. You don't have a problem with that. But as soon as Deion Sanders does it, then all of a sudden there's this fake outrage. There's this big old, oh my God, why has he done something like that? I can't believe it. So again, you have the problem. We don't have the problem right here because if it was no problem, you wouldn't be continuing to doing the shit you're doing. But you continue to do this shit. You know why? Because you sit up here talking about how we cloud chasing. You're cloud chasing him. You're looking for relevance. You're the one that's out here talking about, I'm going to expose Stephen A. and I'm going to expose Jason Whitlock. Why? Ain't you cloud chasing by doing that? Because if it was really about supporting head coach Deion Sanders, you would have gotten off your fat ass, hop on the goddamn first class flight while eating all the goddamn hors d'oeuvres in Delta, and you would have taken your ass to Boulder, Colorado. What's up, Marco? And salute to you. But instead, you're not going to do that. You're going to keep your ass right where you're at in the great old state of Tennessee while eating Nashville hot chicken, and you're going to continue to spout your little verbal diarrhea in the mouth while having a non-black unit, Steve Kim, right there assisting you. But you sitting up here running your mouth by Deion Sanders all the damn time. Get your ass out of here, fat nigga.
I can shred Megan Rapinoe for 2 or 3 days in a row, and white people don't curl up in a little ball. Oh my God, you're criticizing Megan Rapinoe. I can take dumps on Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich every day of the week. And what? Oh God, you're criticizing Steve Kerr. Oh, you must hate white people. Why are we the only ones doing that? And we supposed to be men.
No, you a bitch. You are a fucking beta male. That's the real problem in this scenario. You're the beta male. You're the one who's butthurt because we're getting at you for the stupid shit you be spouting out on a daily basis. And it'd be one thing if it was truth behind it, but there's no truth behind what you're saying. You don't got no evidence. You're just sitting up here putting out these vague statements, and we're supposed to use our imagination to fill in the blanks. What you think you have on Deion Sanders is not backed by any evidence. You don't have any supporting documents. You don't have anything. You're just going off of, you just winging it. Now, I know you have a thing for chicken wings, but at this point, you're just out here winging it. You're winging it. Because as long as you continue to lie, as long as you continue to project, as long as you can come up with these false narratives and come up with this fake outrage, I'm going to continue to put my foot in the crack of your fat ass.
Crying like little babies, like little girls. It's embarrassing. If you're not man enough for leadership, don't take a leadership position. You know how much criticism I take?
We know how much food you take too. So we talk about I take, you know how much criticism I take? Yeah, we know how much food you take too, motherfucker. Talk about don't be in no leadership role. And don't be the guy that throws rocks and hides his hand either. It's one thing to criticize people. It's a whole nother thing when you taking it as far as you're taking it, Whitlock. We've all criticized people. We've all gotten criticized. But it's the way you do it is the difference. If you just stick to the subject at hand, that'd be one thing. If you criticize a play that happened during the course of the game, or you're criticizing a decision that the coach make, that's one thing. But when you're attacking this man's character, you're attacking this man's faith, you're attacking this man's children, and I told y'all on many videos, there's no low that Jason Whitlock won't stoop to drive home a narrative. Whether it be lying, whether it be projecting, whether it be fake outrage, whether it be bringing in other people to collaborate with him and to help him credentialize the false narratives that's out there. Yeah, that's what he does. But we out here whining bitch in the morning. Get your ass out of here. And if you butthurt, that's just too goddamn bad. That's just too goddamn bad. You just got to deal with it. You got to deal with the fact that we're going to be on your ass every time you out here talking shit. Now, you need to get it right. You need to make a decision, Whitlock. Are you continue on this nonsensical jihad you're on, or are you going to finally see the light and actually do what you're supposed to do as this quote-unquote objective journalist? And stick to the facts and not feeding these racists out here their proverbial red meat. You sitting up here on a right-wing nut platform, and yet you call yourself an independent. Okay. Fuck out of here.
You see me whine? Oh, God, they're racist. I've been taking criticism a lot longer than any of my critics. White folks and black folks saying crazy stuff about me that's factually untrue.
Oh, okay, hold on. Because see, there's another thing you be doing out here that really get under my skin. This is goddamn double talking. If something is factual, then it cannot be untrue, you idiot. You sitting up here talking about it's factually untrue. What the fuck do you mean by that? If something is factual, that means it must be true. If something's not factual, that means it's not true. What the fuck is this factually untrue? What the fuck is that? Stop all this goddamn double talking. Look, I know you have a thing for double deckers and shit like that, right? But don't be out here double talking, okay? I know you got a thing for double Oreos and double wide trailers and all that shit. But this double talking you do, talk about factually untrue, stop it. Stop it, okay? This is low even for you. And you got very low standards. If something is factual, that means it is very much the truth, okay? Stop it.
I signed up for this. I got a big mouth. I say big things. I bloviate. There's blowback to that. So I'm not going, oh, don't criticize me. I'm black. Dion's got a big mouth and bloviates. Has no problem taking a dump on 18-year-old kids.
And once again, you're out here lying. You're not providing no kind of context. You're sitting up here lying. The reason why Deion Sanders has a big mouth and whatever you want to call it is because the man is confident. The man knows who he is on the inside, and there's nobody on the outside that can tell him who he is. And it's one thing to be confident, as another and can back up what you're saying. There's a whole nother thing to be arrogant, which is you. You're the arrogant one. He's confident, and the people that he is in charge of is believing in him. They're buying in. Remember, you didn't want to see him succeed in the beginning. You came up with all this stuff about why this man going to ultimately fail at Colorado. You was praying for this man's downfall. They lose to Oregon the way they did last week, and you went on your jelly donut goddamn float and went on a damn parade about that shit. Why? Because you the one that have a problem with him. Deion Sanders didn't do anything to you. He didn't say anything to you. The man didn't even thinking about you. And yet you have the problem with him. You the one that's always on your platform every day and every hour. Think about what you gonna say. Think about what lie you gonna cook up. Chef Jason Whitlock. Chef Jason Whitlock got that 5-star Michelin restaurant to see what kind of bullshit you gonna cook up next, isn't it? That's why we have the problem with you. So if you want to know why we on your ass, it's because you out here lying. You're keeping up with the bullshit. And until you stop bullshitting, until you stop lying to people, until you stop putting out these propaganda pieces and putting out these vague statements and leaving people up to using their imagination to figure out what the fuck's going on, we're gonna continue to be on your ass. Cause you sitting up here leaving a whole bunch of information out, propagandizing against Deion Sanders. You're leaving out a bunch of information, not providing no kind of context. You just out here frothing off at the mouth. And you wonder why we jumping on your ass feet first.
There's blowback and pushback for that. All of you whiners and criers and fake black social justice warriors, you're doing this for black people and you're protecting. Nah, you're protecting an elite because you want to get invited to whatever party Deion's throwing.
No. What party am I going to? I don't got no party to go to. You know why? Because I have a responsibility that I have to do every day. That means going to work. That means trying to find a life that's suitable for me and my family. I'm out here every day on this grind to survive. And it's a tough one. I will admit that it is fucking tough out here in these streets. So no, I don't got no time to party. I don't got no time to indulge in this high life. I don't got no time to be out here bougieing up with all kinds of athletes and entertainers. I don't got that kind of time. So no, I'm not looking for no invite to no party nowhere. Fuck out of here. What are you looking for? Since up here, you once again try to project on everybody else what they looking for, what they trying to get. What are you trying to get out of this, Whitlock? Huh? What are you trying to get out of this? What's your end game? What's making your fat back sizzle like night over the Deion Sanders subject? You sitting up here asking us what are you trying to get out of this? Huh? You trying to get him to come on your show for an interview so it can spike your YouTube numbers? Huh? That what you looking for? You looking for him to humble himself? Whatever the fuck that means? Because you still ain't told us what that means by him humbling himself. He would be like you. Huh? He would just be like you. Fuck out of here, Whitlock. And still notice you got that 1970s corny ass porno music playing in your background every time you get done being on your little vagina monologue. See, people like you disgust me. Just because I don't have the subscribers, or just because I don't have the same followers on Twitter that you do, that don't make me less of an individual. That don't make me beneath you. You won't talk to a person like me because a person like me is going to destroy a person like you. You won't talk to a person like me. You pretend like you got a DoorDash order full of hot nachos and you go out and do that. Or Uber Eats. Or Grubhub. Whatever make your bacon sizzle. So no, you're not gonna sit up here and talk about how we whining, bitching, and moaning and all that. And you sitting up here doing the same exact thing that you're accusing people like me and Ticket and other people are doing. Fuck out of here. So yeah, till you stop that buck dancing, until you stop that shoe shuffling and that spit shoe shining, until you stop that corn shucking, yeah, this gonna only get worse. It's gonna only get worse until you stop lying to people, until you stop putting out these vague, empty statements about Deion Sanders and how he's coaching the team and all that. Until you stop all that stupid shit. Until you stop being a 3-chin, big titty ass goof, we gonna continue to be on your motherfucking ass. Now put that dildo in your mouth and choke on it. Now, if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, that like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Hey!